with us at the Nürburgring, we can go straight to the press conference.
Michael, many, many congratulations.
You can improve for Magny-Cours.
Hey, Michael.
OK, let me just confirm, of course, David Coulthard won at Magny-Cours. We'll be there next week, back-to-back Grand Prix for us, and 10 out of 10 for Michael Schumacher. Montoya second, as he was in Spain. Great drive from the Colombian. Then Coulthard, Ralf Schumacher, his race ruined by that 10-second penalty. Fourth place. Barrichello fifth, despite the late spin, and just a single point for Mika Häkkinen. And this is how it looks, and David Coulthard is now 24 points behind Michael Schumacher on 68. Rubens Barrichello, just a point the difference now between him and Ralf Schumacher. Montoya on 12, and Häkkinen, his point today takes him up to 9. And the constructors, Ferrari racing towards 3 figures, McLaren second, Williams a clear and decisive third, Sauber keeping ahead of Jordan and BAR. Just to let you know, that competition is still to come, and when you rejoin us, Tony Jardine will have his say about the European Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher has won the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Now then, Tony, from the start, Michael Schumacher was away. I mean, there wasn't too much brotherly love there, was there, with him and Ralph, both on the front row, of course.
The thing is, once the racing starts, no matter how much they hug before or afterwards or whatever, I thought Michael was very aggressive towards his brother today, and you could particularly see it in the start. McLaren's had a great start, by the way. Barrichello moving back. Look at this squeeze from Michael Schumacher on his younger brother. And then thinking about it on the inside, Ralph has a go. Montoya, lovely clean start from him as well. And look at it from in-car, from Juan Pablo Montoya. He has a great view of this, of his teammate being squeezed, and that's fair enough from Michael Schumacher. He's allowed to make one move like that. That's the agreement from the GPDA, the Grand Prix Drivers Association. All is fair in love and war, says Michael.
Absolutely. We saw Ralph very much like the last race, then pushing it, and he couldn't get past Michael. But it was the pit stop really that ruined Ralph's race. But was Michael at fault here as well?
I thought, this was part of the aggression. I thought he drove across his bows very late, across the white line onto the entry in there. The rules are about the exit of the pit lane, because that's the most dangerous bit when the cars are coming down. But you see, Ralph just overshot his mark there, and that just stretches the hoses, gives the guys an extra fraction of a second in terms of the job. Ferrari are already finished. Now, I'm not sure when they came in whether Michael was hedging his bet should he come in, and then he was radioed, Ralph's coming in, and he darted across him. Either that, or he deliberately and aggressively came across. Now, this is the bit. So Michael comes out. He's back off and out the control button, back up to speed. You saw Ralph then going across that white line. Now, we've seen it before, a couple of years ago, when Michael Schumacher did that, went out into the flow of the traffic and took out Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Canadian Grand Prix. It is very dangerous, and that rule is strictly adhered to.
Having said that, Tony, there didn't seem to be any need for him to do that. There was no car coming around the corner. He wasn't particularly battling for place there. I mean, how fundamental an error is that?
Well, Ralph wasn't looking at the line. He presumably thought he was out of the pit. What he was looking to do was take a nice arc and a line round in the first corner, because his tyres are that bit colder. He didn't want to take it too narrow and risk spinning on what are colder tyres, even though they've been in the special electric blankets. So he was just looking ahead and seeing how far Michael's ahead of me.
Yeah, his Williams teammate, Juan Pablo Montoya, the Colombian, came here under a fair bit of pressure after his prangs in the last couple of races, and he delivered.
Pressure, you say, Jim? Absolutely, because he is under threat of suspension for a couple of races if he misbehaves, if he gets into contretemps with any other drivers. I thought Juan Pablo Montoya approached this race very, very well. Patrick Head, when he was in here earlier, didn't say anything, but of course that's him going past Verstappen, look, and he was closing in there. Look at him, closing in on Coulthard. He was in 4th place, Coulthard in 3rd. He locked up and sensibly goes across the straight road. Right behind our studio, we had a lovely view of this as he goes across the grass and gets away with it. But a super approach from Montoya, and 6 points.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Patrick Head there. Let's hear what the Williams technical chief has to say about it. Here he is chatting to Louise.
Patrick, a race of highs and lows for the Williams team. Let's have a word on Juan Pablo first of all.
Well, obviously great for Juan Pablo to get a result. He's had a bit of a difficult time in the last few races, as people have seen, and come under a bit of pressure. And he drove really well today, and I hope his championship can build from here.
Was this the sort of calm, mature drive that you've been wanting to see from him?
He showed great wisdom.
And Ralph, obviously a very unlucky day for him.
Yes, I don't think you could call it luck. I mean, the rules are the rules, and I didn't actually see it, but apparently he crossed the right white line on the pit exit. I don't know why, but anyway, he got the penalty, and that rather destroyed his race, obviously.
Did that cost him the win, do you think?
I don't know. Michael was quite strong in his middle sector, but then we had, I don't know, but it would have been more of a battle, obviously.
Well, it did destroy Ralph's race, but let's talk about the winner, about Michael Schumacher. I mean, he's looking ominously strong now for that world title again.
But no one's working harder than Ferrari at the moment. Their wind tunnel, which is just across the road from the factory, is working 24 hours a day. There are 3 sets of engineers going there in shifts, and it's this constant evolution. And if McLaren are to catch up, now they need to step with the engine, they need to step with the aerodynamics, and hopefully now it's settled a bit with Newey, they can concentrate on getting those advances. It has to be constant evolution. It's relentless, Jim.
Well, he is relentless as well, Michael Schumacher. Let's just take a look at that. Here we are. 153 Grand Prix, 49 wins. Total poles 39. Only Ayrton Senna on 65 has got more, 17 from pole. 6 successive wins, of course, 3 less than Ascari's record of 9, and 7 successive poles, 1 less than Senna's record of 8. Absolutely astonishing, really. Okay, a little word about David Coulthard. It's a long way back from him, minus 24 now to Michael Schumacher.
Well, James made a good point about the wobbly period last year and Coulthard, how he won so aggressively and forcefully. I really enjoyed that in France last year. But there's something else that he's hoping that Mercedes will kick them into a bit more power. Don't forget, this is BMW against Mercedes. And poor Coulthard got passed by Ralf Schumacher earlier on before he took the pit stop. That was right in front of the Mercedes grandstand. Huge rivalry between these 2 big German marques. They won't take this lightly either.
Just finally, it won't help Coulthard, it won't help McLaren. They cannot test between now and Manicourt next week.
No, but I'm sure they've got quite a few things in the pipeline. They're a big team. They've got things that they'll try, and they're going to have to literally try them in front of the crowds in the grandstands on the Friday and see if they can close that gap a little bit. And the same with the engines. They can run them on the dynos.
You mentioned crowds in the grandstand. Well, 140,000 odd here. And a very, very happy big German crowd as well on the back of Michael Schumacher's brilliant victory. It takes us to our competition. Watch carefully if you fancy a day out at Goodwood and a ride in a Formula One car as well. It's always a day to remember. The Goodwood Festival's a highlight of the British racing calendar. A thrilling demonstration of the world's best cars by great drivers. This year we've teamed up with the European Minardi team to offer 2 lucky winners the chance to experience the action firsthand. Both get a ride in Minardi's new 2-seater F1 car. The prize is a ride in that car up the hill climb course at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, plus 2 VIP tickets for the festival on Sunday, the 8th of July. Terrific prize then. All you've got to do is answer this question. Which country does the Minardi driver Fernando Alonso come from? Is it A, Spain, B, Italy, or C, Argentina? A, Spain, B, Italy, C, Argentina. The number to call 09001 229966. 09001 229966. The calls will cost you 60 pence a minute. Lines close at midnight on the 27th of June, and the very best of luck to you all. We have a special programme for you as well, featuring the best of the Goodwood Festival of Speed, 2:30 after Silverstone qualifying on Saturday, July the 14th. On this channel, highlights later tonight, just before midnight. Repeat ITV2, 7:30 tomorrow. Back-to-back races. We go to Manicourt next weekend, qualifying 11:30 on the Saturday. Race live from just after midday. Highlights 10 o'clock on ITV2, just after midnight here on ITV. Michael Schumacher, he's the ringmaster beyond any question. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to know more about Formula One, the website address sponsored by Foster's is www.itv-f1.com.